The afternoon sun draped the quiet cafe in a soft golden glow, the kind of light that made everything look gentler than it really was. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sweet scent of pastries, and laughter drifted from a group of students in the corner. But at the small table near the window, Emma sat alone, her fingers nervously tracing the rim of her cup. Her coffee had long gone cold, untouched for nearly 40 minutes, but she didn't want to leave, not yet. She kept glancing at the door every few seconds, pretending she wasn't waiting for someone, pretending her heart wasn't slowly breaking. Her reflection in the window showed a woman who had tried too hard today. Soft curls brushed perfectly, a blue dress that made her feel brave, light makeup carefully hiding the shadows beneath her eyes. She looked beautiful, she knew that, but beauty didn't change the truth, that the man she was supposed to meet had seen her, recognized her, and walked away. He had entered the cafe half an hour ago, scanning the tables, his phone in hand. Their messages over the past few weeks had been warm and funny. He'd said he liked that she was real, not like other people online. But when his eyes landed on her, sitting in her wheelchair by the window, something flickered across his face: surprise, hesitation, then embarrassment. Before she could wave, he had turned and quietly left, pretending to take a call outside. He never came back. Emma had pretended not to notice, keeping her gaze fixed on the street as tears stung behind her eyes. She told herself he must have been delayed, that maybe something had come up, but deep down, she knew. She'd seen that look before. It wasn't pity or disgust. It was fear. Fear of responsibility, of judgment, of being with someone different. Now the coffee cup in front of her had grown cold, and her chest felt heavier with each passing second. She knew she should leave before someone noticed how long she'd been sitting alone, but the thought of going home to silence was worse. She had promised herself she wouldn't let one more cruel moment define her, but even the strongest promises bend when loneliness sits too long in your chest. She reached for her purse, ready to quietly slip away, when a small voice suddenly interrupted her thoughts. "Daddy, is that lady sad?" Emma turned her head slightly, startled. A little girl, no older than 6, stood near the counter, her small hand tugging on her father's sleeve. The man she was with looked around 35, tall and confident in a tailored gray suit. His hair was slightly disheveled in a way that made him look effortlessly composed, and his eyes, deep blue and kind, followed his daughter's pointing finger toward Emma. He looked at her for a moment, assessing, not with judgment but concern. Then he smiled softly at his daughter and whispered something that made her giggle before the two of them began walking toward her table. Emma quickly looked down at her phone, pretending to type something, her pulse quickening. She wasn't used to being approached by strangers, especially not like this. "Hi," the man said, stopping beside her table with that same gentle smile. "I hope you don't mind us intruding. My daughter thinks it's unfair for anyone to drink coffee alone. Would you mind if we joined you?" Emma blinked, unsure what to say. The cafe was half empty. There were plenty of open tables. "Oh, I don't want to take your time," she said softly. But before she could finish, the little girl plopped herself into the chair opposite her and beamed. "I'm Lily," she announced proudly. "You looked lonely. Daddy says lonely people should always have company. That's a rule." Emma couldn't help but smile at that, the kind of smile that slipped past sadness. "That's a good rule," she said gently. The man chuckled and took the seat beside his daughter. "I'm Noah," he said, offering his hand. His handshake was warm, steady, and careful, as though he knew instinctively not to make her uncomfortable. "And you are Emma," she replied, meeting his eyes. There was no pity there, no hesitation, just genuine kindness. Noah signaled to the waiter, ordering a muffin for Lily and another cup of coffee for himself. "Rough day?" he asked, his tone casual, not prying. Emma hesitated before nodding. "You could say that. I was supposed to meet someone, but plans changed." He didn't ask for details. He just nodded slowly, as though he understood more than she said. Lily, meanwhile, had launched into a cheerful conversation about her school play and how she'd been practicing her dance all week. "Do you dance?" Lily asked suddenly, looking at Emma with curious eyes. Emma paused. "I used to," she said softly. A long time ago. Lily gasped dramatically. A dancer. Daddy, she's a dancer, she exclaimed, and Noah laughed. She still is, he said, glancing at Emma. Once a dancer, always a dancer. Emma's cheeks warmed. You flatter easily, she murmured, but her heart fluttered at the sincerity in his voice. For the first time that day, she didn't feel invisible. They talked for nearly an hour. Lily told stories that made both adults laugh, her innocence filling every quiet space. Noah shared a few anecdotes about his daughter's mischievous adventures and how she tried selling him her crayon drawings for $1 each. Emma found herself laughing more than she had in months. The cafe that had once felt like a cage now felt warm and alive again. When the bill came, Noah reached for it, but Emma stopped him gently. Please, let me at least pay for my coffee, she insisted. He smiled. Tell you what, how about you get it next time? Her breath caught at the word next. Next time, she repeated, surprised. If you'd like, he said casually. We come here every Thursday after Lily's dance class. Same time, same place. You'd be saving us from another muffin debate. Lily clapped her hands. Yes, you have to come. I'll show you my new dance move. Emma smiled, something bright stirring inside her. I'd like that, she whispered. As they left, Lily ran back and hugged her leg. Don't be sad anymore, okay? Emma swallowed hard, her eyes stinging. I'll try, she whispered. When they were gone, she looked out the window, watching them walk hand in hand down the street. The man she had waited for never returned, but maybe the universe had sent her someone better. Someone who didn't run away when they saw her. Over the next few days, Emma couldn't stop thinking about them. About Noah's calm voice, his quiet humor, the way Lily's laughter filled the room. She told herself not to get attached. It was just one kind afternoon, but part of her longed to see them again. So, when Thursday came, she found herself back at the cafe, heart fluttering like the first time. She told herself it was just coffee, just friendly company. But deep down, she knew it meant more. The moment she rolled inside, she saw them. Lily was perched by the window, coloring on a napkin, while Noah scrolled through his tablet. When Lily looked up and saw her, her face lit up. Emma, she squealed, running over. You came. Of course I did, Emma said with a smile. I couldn't miss your dance practice. From that day, their meetings became routine. Every Thursday, same time, same cafe. It wasn't planned, yet it felt like it had always been meant to be. They talked about everything. Movies, food, memories. Emma told them how she used to teach ballet before the accident, how the car crash had changed everything. Noah didn't pity her, he listened, really listened. When he spoke, he shared that his wife had passed away 3 years ago from cancer, leaving him to raise Lily alone. The same year, Emma realized, when her accident happened. Both of their lives had changed that same year, both marked by loss, both learning how to move forward. Lily became the bridge between them. She'd tell Emma her little secrets, draw her silly pictures, and once, even asked, why don't you come to our house? Daddy makes pancakes that taste like clouds. Emma had laughed, promising someday she would. As weeks turned into months, Noah started calling her just to check in. Sometimes he'd show up at her apartment to drive her to the cafe, saying it was no trouble at all. You really don't have to, she would protest, smiling. I know, he'd say, but I want to. There was something disarming about his sincerity. She had built walls around her heart for years, convinced no one would look at her the same way again. But Noah never looked away. He saw her as whole, as strong, as beautiful. One rainy evening, as thunder rolled softly in the distance, they sat together by the window, watching raindrops trace patterns on the glass. Lily was at the counter, happily sipping her chocolate milk. Emma, Noah said quietly, his voice almost lost in the hum of the rain. I don't know what this is yet, but I want you to know, these Thursdays mean more than you think. To both of us. Emma looked down, her heart thudding. You don't have to say that. He smiled faintly. I'm not saying it because I have to. I'm saying it because it's true. She met his eyes, and for a moment, the whole cafe seemed to fade away. There was no wheelchair, no loss, no fear, just two souls who had found each other by chance, breathing the same fragile hope. Before she could answer, Lily came back, sliding into her seat. "Daddy, can Emma come to my school show next week?" Noah turned to her with a small grin. "Only if she wants to." Emma smiled, her voice soft. "I'd love to." The following week, she arrived early at the small auditorium, nervous and excited. She watched Lily dance across the stage in a tiny pink costume, twirling with all the grace her little body could manage. When the performance ended, Lily ran to her, eyes shining. "Did I do good?" she asked. "You were perfect," Emma said, her heart swelling. Then Lily turned to her father and whispered something in his ear. Noah chuckled, his gaze turning tender. "She just said she wants you to be part of our family," he said quietly. Emma's breath caught. "That's a big thing for a little girl to say," she whispered. Noah smiled softly. "She doesn't see it as big. She just sees what's right in front of her." They stood there in silence for a moment, the sound of applause fading in the background. When they stepped outside, the night air was cool and soft, the stars scattered faintly above the city. "Noah," Emma said quietly, "you barely know me." He turned to her, his eyes steady. "I know enough. I know you've been hurt, and I know you're stronger than anyone I've ever met. I know Lily adores you. And I know that when you smile, the world feels a little less heavy." Tears blurred her vision. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because," he said gently, brushing a strand of hair from her face, "sometimes the people we meet by accident are the ones we were meant to find all along." Lily slipped her small hand into Emma's. "You're not lonely anymore, right?" she asked. Emma smiled through her tears and squeezed her hand. "No, sweetheart," she whispered. "Not anymore." And as they walked down the quiet street together, the cafe lights fading behind them, Emma realized that love didn't always arrive in grand gestures or perfect beginnings. Sometimes it arrived in the form of a small child's smile, a stranger's kindness, and a second chance at a life she never thought she'd have again.